Hey everybody, this is Chiro with Minmo Yo. I decided to do a quick little video. I wanted to give a kind of like a trip report of when I went on Sunday to the casino. First thing though, I wanted to say I planned on tomorrow, Thursday, going to the casino to do the very first run for my have the casino win or have the casino pay for my new craps table. But it looks like because of work, my store, I'm here at the store early today. I've got to do a couple of things. I also have an electrician coming to take care of a couple of lights that I have up there. So it looks like I have to cancel tomorrow, which kind of sucks, but it doesn't matter. I'll reschedule it. So it gives me an opportunity to practice a couple of more things that I wanted to anyway. So, all right, guys. Actually, let me take this off. I want to put my eyeballs on here that I can read. Sorry, I got to put my eyeballs on. So I went to a place Sunday because I wasn't planning on it. I actually was thinking I was going to do some yard work, but that didn't happen. The weather was absolutely horrible. So couldn't go. It was pouring down rain and everything. I figured, well, I actually had a break in the rain, but everything was solid wet. So I decided, let me run up to the casino. I had called the day before. I was looking at it. I hadn't been to this casino. It's called Isles of Capri. It's in Boonville. I don't know if I would call any one of my own cities Boonville, but it's called Boonville. So I went there. The drive was over a 2-hour drive because the weather was so bad. And it was really bad. I mean, the drive sucked. I was like white knuckling it, you know what I mean? And then I finally got there, and I had called the day before, and they told me that there's $10 craps table, and they told me it was going to be opening up at noon, which was a little bit of a bummer because I plan on going there a little bit earlier, but that's okay. So I switched my plans around and got there shortly before noon. As soon as I get there, I get my new card because I'd never been to this casino, which is kind of ironic, guys. This is something that I thought was weird. It's actually owned by Caesars. This place is it's Caesars Rewards. Yeah. So that's kind of I thought that was weird. I didn't know that whenever I went there, but it's a Caesars place. So I get there, and on the craps table there was a sign. And it said, sorry for the inconvenience. We will not be opening up the table until 2 o'clock. And I had already had a 2.5-hour drive in the rain. And I was kind of bummed about that. I actually went over to the pit boss that was, it's a really small casino. So there's like only one pit boss in the whole thing. And I ended up talking to him, and they gave me a good enough reason. They said that the person who was opening up the table at noon called in sick. And so they had to wait until 2 o'clock for the new person to open it up, which was okay. I played bubble craps for a little bit, but I was kind of like, wow, I wasn't planning on staying here for an entire day, but it sounds like I was going to. I decided to stay away from all the other table games. I love playing some of the other stuff, but I was there for one reason and one reason only, to practice. I was bringing $300 with me. I was going to practice my dice setting. That was the most important thing that I wanted to do, practice on a real table, because I'm not a dice setter, but I'm getting into it, and I've not actually done it on a real table before. Other than in Vegas, but we didn't play a whole bunch of craps in Vegas. Excuse me. So, I wanted to play, or I wanted to dice set. I also wanted to see if I can get a feel of when the table is going to start changing from hot to cold. It's going to be essential for me to make that decision, whenever I'm actually doing this for the craps table. So those were the two things. The $300 was not even an issue to me. I expected to lose it. I mean, I hope I was going to win, but it was more about the practice. I mean, I kind of think of it like, an Olympic runner can practice all he wants on a treadmill. they're probably not going to never step on a racetrack until the day of the Olympics. I'm sure they're probably practicing on a real racetrack as well too. That was my thought process. I really wanted to practice on a real craps table. My dice setting, which by the way, 3-1, 3-2. Wow, I fell in love with that one, guys. I liked it at my practice table, and it did pretty darn good. Staying away from the 7, I should say. It did pretty good. So I was quite happy with it. Okay, the one cool thing that actually happened that I thought was really neat was I've never experienced a craps table opening up. There's a lot to it. A whole team of people. They've got the numbers guys writing down on the tickets. They've got the middle guy that's taking measurements of the dice with a micrometer, doing a light thing over each dice. They handed all the dices to all the other dealers. They examined them. It was really interesting. I'd never seen that happen before, and I thought that was really cool. So I just wanted to bring that up. Okay. So when the table was opening up, I found my spot, but it was a packed table. Everybody obviously was waiting to play craps. So it was packed. I was lucky enough to actually find my spot. I was stick right, second spot. Not my favorite spot. I'm a righty. I would have preferred to throw like this, but I was forced to throw like this because that was really the only spot. The one weird thing, I'm going to mention this, but it wasn't actually something that was super important, but you'll understand why. This is a very local casino for the town, and really it was nothing but very, very old people in there. And that doesn't matter to me. I'm 50 years old myself, but I'm talking at a much, much higher level in age. The reason why I'm bringing that up, there was zero fun factor at the table. I mean, zero. It didn't matter if they were winning $300-400 on one roll. They just collected their money and went to the next bet. It was kind of weird. I've never played on a craps table where absolutely no fun. In fact, I think the most fun was whenever I called out a Minmo Yo, and because a yo happened, and I said, yo, Minmo Yo, and somebody goes, what's that? And I was like, oh, sorry, it's my YouTube channel, and so that was it. I'm not even sure if he knew what YouTube was. So, but like I said, it was no excitement at all on the table. I started out slow, guys. I wanted to. I had $300. I wanted to last as long as I could on this table. That was packed. I needed to throw the dice. So I wanted to stay on there as long as I could. So that way it went around enough times for me to throw the dice. The first time, the first roll, I was the third person to shoot. So it wasn't too bad. Excuse me, guys. So I started slow. I mean, everybody was playing the pass line. I kind of was going to stay away from the dark side, especially, I wanted to see the table turn to that side, and so I was looking for that transition. And I was also watching every single shooter. It was really important for me to know who was shooting, how they were shooting. So that, it was good in that aspect because I did get a chance to throw the dice a bunch. All right. So what ended up happening was in the beginning, we all did good. Everybody at the table was actually making a lot of money. I actually brought my $300 up to almost $600. And guys, I will tell you this right now. If I was actually playing for my craps table, I would have probably walked away when I hit $500. I would have had no problem with that. This was a practice session. This was also a long drive and a long wait for the table. So I was going to play and I was going to sit there and play. Having more money to me wasn't a stop win goal. It was a practice session. So that's what I did, even though I was up pretty high. Here's the weird thing. I got that high in about 25 minutes. The table was pretty hot in the very beginning. I pressed the 6 and 8s and not regressed. I pressed and collected, and the first few rolls, they were all 6s and 8s. So I ended up winning pretty significantly in a short amount of time, which was awesome. I started doing something that I thought I'd never do. And that is, I let the other dealer or other players influence my betting. Everybody at that table was, at least around me, was pass line, and then of course numbers. But then they were also playing high odds, like max odds, which this table was not the 4 or 3, 4, 5 odds. It was actually 10 times odds on all the numbers. So it was high odds. Everyone was, and some of them were winning around me. So I decided, you know what, let me give this a try. I'm not necessarily a massive odds player, although in this situation for my craps table win, I think I will be. But I decided, let me try this out. It's working for everybody else. Number one mistake: never let somebody else's play influence you. Stick to the plan, you know, and I let them influence me. And of course, I got hit hard a couple of times. And then trying to stay slow again because the dice were still far away from coming back around the table. So I started going slow. Table started changing. Even though I was going slow, I was getting hit by 0.7 outs. You know, so it is what it is. Obviously, we've all been there. I started spreading the numbers out whenever I would make hits instead of just on the 6 and 8. I wanted to try that aspect. I really think that that is probably one of the best things you can do. And boy, I just couldn't get there. You know, I mean, it was going bad. But because one of the people had rolled one of the ATSs, the talls, we ended up winning. It was $5 on each, so it was $15 on every time you bet the ATS. You know, that was probably one of my biggest downfalls, is betting the ATS. It didn't, you know, it's $15 each time. And I had $300. And I bet it almost every time until the end. And so if you think about it, that's, you know, 3 rolls or 4 rolls, and you're already at $60. And I only had $300, right? So it was one of those things where I was playing it because everybody else was playing it. I need to learn from that. I definitely need to learn from that. Okay. So when we were winning in the second half of it, nobody was winning really big. At least I know I wasn't. So my chips were dwindling. Even though I'd get a little bit, they were dwindling. We did hit that the tall, let me survive for a little bit longer. And then, of course, you know, it comes to me. Guys, I had every single chip on the table. I was down to a very small amount. I had enough to cover the 6 and 8. I had enough to cover the pass line. I had enough to do, I think it was 2 times odds. I decided to put the few dollars that I had left on the hard ways, leaving me with 0. Remember, I did not bet the ATS. Everyone else did, but I did not. This was my last roll, right? I did a 23 roller. Guys, I ended up getting every single number on the ATS except the 2. I won everybody money on the tall. But I didn't bet on it. So, you know, I had no more money. I didn't bet on it. So it's okay. You know, it is what it is. So what are you going to do? So I ended up winning a bunch of people some more money. Everyone was really happy with me. And I ended up walking away after my 7 out. By the way, my 7, after the 23 rolls, my 7 hit a stack of chips. Oh, I was so mad about that. The second I hit those chips, I knew what was happening. Yeah, I was so mad about that. But that's all right. I colored up at $142, guys. So I didn't win. I lost a little bit, obviously, about $150, $160. I got up and cashed out. You know, and so I ended up driving home. It was really bad, 2.5 hours home, pouring down rain. But I had a lot of time to think about what was going on and stuff. By the way, I ended up taking this one with me. This is 50-cent chip. So my $142.50. But that was my trip report on what happened on Sunday. You know, hey, you know, Jeff and Chris Jeff was telling a great story about what happened to him and Chris from Dice DGen too, and Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. They both had great stories about what was going on with people. This one wasn't that way for me. We had very little talking, very little excitement. Even the dealers were kind of like, you know, the dealers were great, by the way. They were very helpful. You know, a lot of people on the table, so they were moving pretty fast. But it was an experience, but I did learn a lot, and I didn't lose all my $300, so that's good too, right? I am going to do a couple of videos on some practicing for the table, having the casino pay for my new craps table. So that'll be a couple of videos, and as well as I've been working on a couple of new strategies. I've been writing them down in my book, and I've got a couple of strategies written down that I've been practicing on. So I'm going to try those out as well too on video. So you'll be seeing a couple of videos from me pretty soon, guys. But I just wanted to give you an update of what happened at the casino. It was fun. It was an experience. Don't think I'll be going back to that casino. Nothing bad about that casino. It's just really small. Not a lot of options. You know, it was just small. Not used to that small of a casino. But it was fun, and it was a nice table, you know, and I learned a lot on it. So I've been to another casino that's a lot closer, or not a lot closer, but probably a little bit easier drive. And that one had a couple more tables and a little bit more options. So, hey, I'm in Missouri. You know, what are you going to do? I can't. I got to go with what I got to go with. So, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. I didn't mean to make it this long, but it took a minute to explain all this. So thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe if you like this content. I would really appreciate comments. That helps me know what you guys want, as well as, you know, if I'm making mistakes in anything that I do. So let me know what you think. But I'm going to end it here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.